How you doing, guys? It's Alessandro here from Spicymoustache with some new tips in order to help you creating your own green area, indoor or outdoor, following the principle of do as nature does. The hot weather is quickly approaching, and cold drinks are not the only refreshing thing that you could potentially have to fight it. There are many vegetables that are refreshing and also provide a wide range of nutrients for your body. One of the most common things that could be used as a base to mix different kinds of vegetables is lettuce. So dig up that like button, and today I'll show you all you need to know about growing loads of lettuce in your garden, especially if you have a small space. Lettuce, it's an annual leaf vegetable of the aster family. Most lettuce varieties are eaten fresh and are commonly served as a base for green salads. Lettuce is generally a rich source of vitamins K and A, though the nutrient content might vary depending on the variety that you're growing. Lettuce plants can have taproots or fibrous root systems. The leaves of domesticated varieties come in a wide range of colors, from shades of green to deep red and purple. However, you could also find variegated varieties with mix of colors. You can commonly find 4 botanical varieties of lettuce. Celtus or asparagus lettuce with narrow leaves and a thick succulent edible stem. Head or cabbage lettuce with the leaves folded into a compact head of lettuce. Leaf or curled lettuce with a rosette of leaves that are curled, smooth-edged, or oak-leaved in shape. Cos or romaine lettuce with smooth leaves that form a tall, loose head. Growing lettuce at the right time, it's critical to success. You could potentially plant it at any time of the year, but the risk of issues will be higher. If the temperature is not ideal to grow your lettuce, you will have your plant bolting. Vegetable gardeners often talk about the plant bolting, which simply means that the plant sends up a flower stalk and goes to seed. When plants flower, it's generally considered a good thing. However, when we talk about leafy greens, like cabbage, spinach, lettuce and many other crops, bolting causes the plant to turn bitter and it will start producing smaller leaves and sturdy, which will make them inedible. Bolting tends to happen when the temperature heats up. Heat might be a factor in bolting if a high temperature occurs when the plant is approaching maturity. Dry conditions might also contribute to bolting. Basically, it's a natural response by plants that whenever they're threatened by harsh temperatures, they will often go into seed. Also, a continuous exposure to cold temperatures might be a factor to send the plant into flower and seed. If you want to plant your lettuce when the weather is already hot, just find a shaded area in your garden. A trick that could work is to plant it under tall plants that will make shade over your crop. If the area is fully exposed to sunlight, just place a shade cloth over your lettuce. Also, water the area wherever you're planning to plant your plants with cold water a few weeks in advance and cover it with a board. Alternatively, if you want to plant it when the weather is still really cold, just make sure to use a greenhouse, cold frames, or a simple cover. Also, if they start bolting and forming flower buds, just pinch them off. This won't stop the seeding process of your lettuce. However, it will extend the season for at least a couple of weeks. Select a spot that is partially shaded and ideally receive 6 hours of sun if planted in the right season. The soil to use would be a good organic potting soil that retains water, but it's also well draining. I usually mix in extra perlite to retain the extra moisture and provide more aeration to the soil. Top up the area where you're planning to plant your lettuce at least 1 week in advance with good organic compost. Make sure there are no rocks or big chunks of soil if you're planning to plant your seeds straight into the ground, as it will obstruct their growth. Lettuce does not compete well with weeds. Spacing lettuce close together will help to repel weeds and also maximize the harvest. Mulching the soil, it's a really good option to keep it moist for longer, repel weeds, and also make life harder for pests and disease to get to your plants. It will also help to keep the temperature of your soil relatively cool and make it ideal for your lettuce. Also, if you're planning to plant your plants more than 1 year in a row, just rotate it in your garden to avoid most kind of disease. Direct sowing lettuce in the garden is recommended as soon as the ground can be worked. If you want an earlier crop, however, you can plant seeds indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last wave of frost. Some lettuce seedlings will even tolerate a light frost. Seeds should be planted 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch deep. Lettuce seeds need light in order to germinate, so don't plant them too deep. You can start thinning out seeds when they have 3 to 4 true leaves. To transplant them, you will need 4 to 6 true leaves and a well-developed root system. It is recommended to keep 4 to 15 inches distance between the rows of lettuce, depending on the variety that you decided to plant in your garden. You can plant chives, spring onions or garlic in between the rows of your lettuce, which will act as a natural repellent for aphids. They are absolutely great companion planting, and it will also help to maximize the harvest in a small area of your garden. Lettuce like moist but not soaking wet soil. If the plant needs water, you can tell by the wilted leaves. You can water them even in the middle of the day with scorching sun, just to lower the transpiration rate. Remember to fertilize your soil 3-4 weeks after you planted your lettuce. I recommend using products by Plant Grow UK, as they are 100% natural and made from old plant materials. You could also use alfalfa meal or comfrey. In case you missed it, I made a whole video on how to use comfrey in your garden. As mentioned before, try to keep it shaded if the weather is too hot, or use a protection if the weather is too cold. There are many pests and diseases that could potentially affect your plants, and one of the most common are aphids or slugs. However, there is no need to spray your lettuce with pesticides. I use a mulch to repel slugs by Strulch Mulch, and I use also a powder by Plant Grow UK to sprinkle around the plants, and it keeps away the slugs. And they work really good in combo. I'll leave the link in the description in case you would like to try them out. You should always harvest your lettuce right before it gets to full maturity. The leaves will still be tender and they will taste best. To harvest leaf lettuce, just remove the outer part so the middle can still produce more leaves. If you wait for too long, the leaves will taste woody and bitter, and they will also last for a shorter period of time. I usually start planting a second round of lettuce after my first harvest, so by the time they lose vigor, I've got another round of fresh lettuce to be planted out. Lettuce can take approximately between 65 to 100 days to reach full maturity, depending on the variety that you choose to plant in your garden. For head lettuce, you will know when to harvest based on the size and shape of the head. It should be firm with a well-shaped head, and this is harvested by cutting the head off the stalk. You can store this in the fridge, and if the leaves start to turn dry, you can hydrate them in water for 15 minutes with ice cubes. Lettuce shouldn't be stored close to apples or bananas because they will speed up the ripening process and they will decay really quick. Lettuce is one of the easiest crops to have in your garden, and growing your own will taste much better than store-bought. Even if you are just starting or expert gardener, I would be really surprised to not see this kind of vegetable growing in your garden. I hope you liked this video, and if so, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification settings so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you next week for a new episode. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.